Hello everyone, my name is Fundamenty, and today I wanted to ask a question. Who remembers The Hunger? The Hunger was a late-night horror anthology series that aired on Showtime in the late 90s and early 2000s. In 2009, it got a DVD release of its first and second season. Now, there are 5 seasons technically of the series, although I'm not sure if all 5 seasons were combined to make up those 2 seasons that were released, or if 3, 4, and 5 are just simply lost in time and you can't find them on DVD. Either way, the only thing I know for sure, there's a first and second season release of this show. Each season consists of 22 episodes that are each one of them standalone stories, with only one thing connecting them: the narrator, someone who begins and ends each episode. But outside this narrator, none of these stories are connected in any way. Now, the title The Hunger might be familiar to you. You may have heard it before. That was because in the 70s, 80s, or 90s, I'm not sure what date, there was a lesbian vampire film called The Hunger made. Now, that also might spark a bit of a question in your mind. What does lesbian vampires have to do with a late-night horror anthology? Well, this show tried to be a bit of a soft porno. I say tried to be because these scenes are so poorly edited and directed, and they feel so awkward and clunky and come out of nowhere that, honestly, they're shit. Honestly, most network TV shows have hotter scenes, which is a sad statement to make in any regard. Doesn't help the matter that the directors felt like the directors did not know what they were doing when they were shooting these scenes. Not to mention, you could say that that wasn't their intention, but these scenes came out of nowhere, served no plot purpose, and were as pervy as badly directed softcore sex scenes could be? I don't know. All I know is they were not good. Speaking of not good, the story was not that great either. The story could be considered in some cases so bad it's good, and I would agree. There is this one episode where this girl needs to marry this man so she can get access to the country. A visa or whatever. She can be legally in the country as long as she's married to him. Well, turns out bitch be crazy because she has multiple personalities. One personality wants to fuck his brains out, which his girlfriend, who eventually leaves him, disagrees with. One personality wants to clean his house, and the third personality is suicidal, and the fourth and most deadly of the bunch is a homicidal maniac that ties him up and attempts to torture him. That was actually a pretty fun episode. But out of those 22 episodes, that was probably the best episode. The other 21 are shit. For example, of one of the shit ones, and this is the structure that kind of make a lot of these episodes suck, and most of these episodes have the structure, they'd begin with something simple. I'm hired to kill you. I want to make it up in the world. Well, the man who tried to make it up in the world, as in get higher up as in his job, he used a plant that he planted outside his boss's house to poison his boss so he could take his boss's position. Instead, the plant ended up killing his boss. Long story short, the girl who he ended up banging turned into a killer flower, the same killer flower that he used, and was apparently evil the entire time, which they never let on to, and turns him into a flower, and they, as flowers, corrupt and kill the world. Okay, fine, I might have been taking some editorial liberties there, but my point is, it begins with something simple you can wrap your head around, and it would go off the rails to total bullshit by the end. And not comedically bad bullshit, just bullshit, period. And as I touched on earlier, the directing is quite bad. Now, because this is an anthology series, more than likely multiple directors cycled through it. Each episode probably was directed by 2 or 3 different people. As in, every 3 episodes would have one director and then they'd switch. But don't worry, each director did just as bad as the last. All of them are very incompetent, and honestly, most kids coming out of college with a camcorder could do better jobs than these assholes. The editing was choppy, faded in a lot, and was just in general quite hard to comprehend. Sometimes the editing took something that was simple and made it 10 times more complicated than it needed to be, and just in general the editing sucked. The one saving grace of this series was the narrator, played by David Bowie. David Bowie's overall a good actor and does a pretty good job as the character. He plays this vampire who's also in the first episode of the second season, for whatever reason. That's also the only episode that David Bowie mainly stars in. Every other episode, he's just simply the guy who introduces and ends off the episodes. Sometimes he asks you questions, and sometimes the outros that are supposed to answer those questions only further make you ask more questions. You rarely got an answer, but overall, he was an enjoyable character, and he was one of the only things that made the show worth sitting through. In the end, The Hunger has shit writing, bad directing, horrible editing, but has one semi-good actor, David Bowie, to vaguely save it? Not really. You can watch all the David Bowie intros on YouTube. I checked it a few months ago. I'm pretty sure they're still up though. So yeah, The Hunger. Do you remember it? Do you care? It's not a horrible series per se, but it's not worth your money. This would be a good show to watch on YouTube for free, but alas, no on YouTube for free. The only thing you can find on free are the intros from David Bowie. But in the end, crap show, good intros, good narrator, good actor. Fuck the directors. Did you like The Hunger? Did you not like me for saying The Hunger was bad? Comment below, let me know. Everybody, I have one more question to ask you. Oh wait, forgot. Never mind. Have a nice day.